An essential element of your ongoing education on guitar and mastery of the instrument is actually knowing what the notes are across the neck. Whatever you're working on, whether it's scales, chords, song learning, sight reading, you're going to need to know the notes on your neck. For me, it's also very applicable for your ear training and your theoretical knowledge as well. There are many methods for learning all the notes on your neck, and you could sit and study them and draw out the neck and map it out. But one of the most effective ways is just to pay attention to what you're learning and to always translate it into note names. We've been emphasizing from the beginning that whenever you learn a song, whenever you learn a riff, you learn the note names and you memorize and apply them. That way you're actually learning the things you would like to do, which might be playing a song or a solo, along with mastering the knowledge of the neck. So many people will learn a song, and when I teach it to them, especially if I show in tab, if I say you're playing the 5th fret A, the 5th fret D, and the 7th fret E, no matter how much I emphasize that you learned that was A, D, and E, they will go away thinking 5, 5, and 7, or even just physically and visually knowing where they are without identifying the notes. It doesn't take a great deal to learn the note names while you're in the middle of learning a song, so you might as well do it at that time. Going through some of the things we've already learned that way, we learned our note names on the open strings on day 1, E, A, D, G, B, and E. We filled in all the natural notes, going alphabetically, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We learned the distances between the notes, which will help us as we go along the neck identifying our notes. We also learned scales on one string. So that was the G scale with an F sharp at the end. So along the way, although I wouldn't probably ask you to try to use this to memorize your notes, do be familiar with them. Say what they are. G, A, B, C. There's a B and a C side by side again. D, E, F sharp, and G. The next string we did D, E, F sharp, and G. To get that half step we need an F sharp. There was a C on this string and a G on that. A, B, C sharp, and D. The 12th fret has the same notes as the open strings. On the A string, alphabetical A, B, C, D, E, F, G, except to do the major scale we did A, B, C sharp, D. C sharp is 2 frets above B. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and so on. So that was one method we had of mapping our strings. The other was to look at some songs. We learned Wild Thing was A, D, and E. 5th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret. A, Recently we learned that Bad Moon Rising starts on that D and goes down to A, so D, A, G at the 3rd fret. So we've got G and A and D and E. In our last lesson we did Summer of '69 starting on this same D. A, chorus, 2 frets higher than A was the B minor, to A, to D, in the bridge we had F, F, B flat, C, B flat, F, B flat, C. We learned some of these notes with Pretty Woman, E, G sharp, B, and D from that. With F sharp. We learned where G sharp was in that song. We used it in very many others, including Dwight Yoakam's Fast As You. Crazy Train had the F sharp and the C sharp, as did Day Tripper. F sharp 7. At the 5th fret, you're getting really knowledgeable of that. You've seen it in many songs. G sharp beside it, C sharp, and B. So just from these songs we have E, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and B on the 6th string. A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, and E on the 5th string. If you make sure you're using your songs that way, you can actually master the neck really well just by paying attention to your songs. I'm using power chords primarily for two reasons. One is their patterns help us to learn the note names, but also we need those note names to play songs. If you're told you have a song in B flat, you can go along this neck on the 6th string, find the A and the B and locate the B flat and play it with the power chord. If there's an E flat next, and we know our neck, we'll know the E flat's on the next string. Whatever the next chord is, whether it's a D flat or an F, whatever they are, you can find them if you know the notes on your neck. So here I've mapped out most of those notes that we just talked about. I don't have the F and the B flat here. We know them from Summer of '69, of course, but also from working on our F scale and our B flat scale. E flats here, and so on. As we got out to our 5th fret, we recognized that we had notes 2 frets higher than the 3rd fret. A, D, G, C, E, and A. C is a bit of a special case because on that string we have G, A, B at the 4th fret. Our 3rd note of the string is on the 4th fret, so C is the 5th note. For tuning purposes, those are also the same notes as our open strings. So we know we have an E and an open A is the 5th string. On the E string, the 5th fret is the same A, so you can tune. On the A string, 5th fret is a D to match your open D string for tuning. Next string would have a G. The next string has C, which doesn't match our B string. The B string is the 2nd string, which requires our shifts. We tune it to the 4th fret. Those are your B notes and your E notes at the 5th fret. So power chords and your songs, your riffs, your basic chord structures are helping you to learn your note names on your strings. We can also use our knowledge of primary chords. You want to memorize this scale. You want to have it ingrained in your head really well. Whatever key you're thinking of, whether it's G with G, C, and D, or E flat with E flat, A flat, B flat, or F with F, B flat, C, you know right away your 1, 4, and 5. That's very valuable on your guitar because the 1, 4, and 5 are located in certain patterns. If you start on a 6th string, wherever your 1 chord is, the 4's on the next string, and the 5's 2 frets up. So if I knew that in the key of G I had G, C's, and D's, and I could find this G, I'd automatically know that C is here, and 2 frets higher is D. We learned that pattern in Wild Thing, of course, as one example. So say I need E flats and F's, I can find a B flat, go up a 4th because I know my 1, 4, 5, E flat's on the next string, and F, the 5, is in the L, 2 frets higher. So from that I could map out B flats, E flats, and F's. The pattern is a little bit different coming the other way. In Bad Moon Rising we saw that the D was at the 5th fret of the 5th string, and it's right above the A at the 5th fret of the 6th string. That's its own 5. Its 4 is back at the 3rd fret. So 1, 5, and 4 gives us the pattern there. We see that here if we go from one string to a lower string in the same fret as the 5th. If we went from the 6th string up to the 5th string in the same fret, we're going up a scale tone 4th, A to D, A, B, C, D. If we come back and D is our 1, and we go D, C, B, A, we've gone down a 4th, but that's the equivalent of going up to the 5th, D, E, F sharp, G, A. So 5ths and 4ths, again, you see are inversions of each other. So just by knowing what your primary chords do, you can learn your guitar neck in any direction on any set of strings. We're playing on the 5th and 6th string at the moment because that will give us a good basis for our power chords, but we want to apply this knowledge up and down the neck and fill in the gaps across the frets. This is all I want to do right now with it, is just see how you already know this information. Perhaps you haven't memorized it yet. And what I'm not asking you to do right now is write this out and sit and memorize it. Instead, as you play your songs, be aware of it. Make sure you know what the chord names are and their located frets whenever you play a song. So we've covered many of them already. We're getting a really good map here just from the few songs we've learned already. But make sure that you are applying the knowledge in both directions. You want to remember what your 1, 4, 5s are. You want to use those to tell you your guitar notes. You want to use your guitar notes to tell you the chords in your scales. Very often you might forget one or the other, but you want the information that you've learned in one realm to inform your information in the other one. This is that whole filing system we talked about. You want all kinds of tags on the information that you've learned. A lot of it can be hard to find at times. You can lose track or hit a blank spot in your memory, and if you can come at the information again from another angle, that's how you can retrieve it. And especially on the fly, that's how you can retrieve it quickly. Your ear training will help you with this, as will your mechanical ability to play the guitar, but continue always to verbalize this. You want to be saying these things so you're analyzing them in your verbal centers, processing them as language, but also hearing your own voice say them, so they're going into the auditory circuits as well.